So basically, in the last class, we talked about the structure of hemoglobin, and we also discussed the two categories or the categorizations of proteins on the basis of their properties. They're either soluble or insoluble, and the soluble proteins we call them the globular proteins, and the insoluble ones we call them the fibrous proteins. And we said that the soluble proteins are soluble. Why? Because they're hydrophilic R groups, which are the water loving R groups. They're pointing outwards. So they are actually face to face or in contact with the water or the aqueous environment. And therefore, they form bonds with water molecules. And therefore, globular proteins are soluble. We also discussed that they're spherical in shape and they're sensitive to pH and temperature changes. Then we talked about our um, insoluble or fibrous proteins, and we said that in their case, the hydrophobic R groups are pointing outwards, making them water insoluble or water hating. They move away from water, and we discussed that hair and nails are basically one example of fibrous protein. Why? Because they consist of keratin protein. And we've never seen a nail or a hair molecule being dissolved in water, and hence proving the fact that fibrous proteins are what? They're insoluble in water. And we also discussed that they're long and narrow in shape. They have like a very strand or thread like shape, and they're less sensitive to pH and temperature changes. Now, the last subtopic that we have to do for proteins is collagen. Now, collagen is an example of which protein? It's an example of a fibrous protein. Okay. Now, I want either one of you to tell me that which of the R groups, either the hydrophilic or the hydrophobic R groups, which one of the two would be pointing outwards? Which either hydrophilic or hydrophobic R groups, which would be facing the aqueous environment, making it a fibrous protein? Either hydrophobic R groups. Very good. Okay. Yeah, both of you answered correctly that the hydrophobic R groups will be pointing towards the aqueous environment. Now, collagen is one of the most abundantly found protein, and it is a very important structural proteins in animals. And why is it so? Because collagen is something which is present in our bones. Our basic structural framework as organisms is what? It's our skeleton. So collagen is present in our teeth, it's present in our bones, in our cartilages, tendons, skin, walls of blood vessels. It's present almost everywhere you can imagine. Okay? And it makes up 25% of the total protein content of a mammalian body. So we are mammals basically, right? So 25% of our total protein content is what? Collagen. So it's a very important protein. Now, why is collagen such an important protein? Just a second, my screen share stopped. Why is collagen so important, or why is collagen present in such important areas of our body, be it our skin, be it our tendons, cartilages, bones, teeth, blood vessels, everything? Because collagen has something known as high tensile strength, which means anything which has high tensile strength, it can bear what? It can bear pressure. So any type of mechanical pressure or any type like हमारा जो fibrous proteins हैं और उनमें से सबसे important जो collagen है वो क्या होता है? They aren't very easily affected by pH changes, by temperature changes, and the biggest factor which makes collagen so important is its high tensile strength. Why? Because it makes it capable to bear what? It makes it capable to bear pressure. तो कोई भी force अगर हमारी हड्डियों को लगती है, it's very hard for a bone to break, right? It takes a lot of a big damage or a big force or a big fall for a bone to break. If you try to put a pressure on any of your bone, like you hold your hand very tightly or you punch your leg very tightly, your bones will not break, your skin will not be affected. ठीक है? It takes a lot of pressure for the bone to break or for your teeth to break. Regular pressure को collagen क्या करता है? बर्दाश्त कर सकता है. If you could touch your teeth, you would feel how hard they are. So what is making them so hard? The collagen present over there is making them so hard. Now, high tensile strength is one reason why collagen is so important. Now, अब कोई चीज अगर टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ है किसी की, तो हमारे जहन में ये चीज आती है दैट ओके इट विल बी वेरी टाइट, it you cannot bend it easily, you cannot break it easily. Yes, you cannot break it easily, but when it comes to collagen, with being highly tensile, it's also flexible. So it's not like you cannot bend it, or you it's like a rock or a solid structure which you cannot move. It's a flexible protein as well. So these two properties are very important. These two properties are what make collagen so important. Now, let's understand how many polypeptide chains are making up this protein. We have understood that proteins का जो basic structural framework होता है वो क्या होता है, वो उनकी polypeptide chains होती हैं, वही आपस में assemble करके protein का structure बना रही होती हैं. So now, collagen is made up of three helical polypeptide chains. Actually, now what is helical? Helical is basically spring-like. So they're basically spring-like. So there, it is made up of three helical polypeptide chains. Now I want either one of you to answer that since collagen molecule is made up of three polypeptide chains, what type of a structure would it have? Would it have a quaternary structure, a tertiary structure, a secondary structure, or a primary structure? What structure would a collagen molecule have at in terms of protein folding? What level of protein folding can be observed in? Yes, you're right, Hajra, a quaternary structure. And why is it a quaternary structure? Because for a quaternary structure, there has to be two or more than two polypeptide chains. And over here, we can see the three helical polypeptide chains are going to associate to form a collagen molecule. Okay, so what happens is that there are three polypeptide chains and they are helical in nature. Helical का क्या मतलब होता है? Spring like. I'll just write that down. Okay. So now obviously these polypeptide chains, they're made up of what? They're made up of amino acids, right? So for example, this is one amino acid, this is another. So these circles are basically what? They're amino acids. Now, I'm coloring every third amino acid, and I'll just tell you in a minute why am I doing so. Okay, so can you see that every third amino acid I've highlighted it with a particular color? Now, all these amino acids are what? They're glycine. Okay, so they're what? They are glycine amino acid. Now, can you, one of you recall what exactly was glycine? Have we discussed its structure? And if we have, what is something unique about glycine? Can anybody of you recall it? When I introduced the topic of protein, I said that the only two proteins and the only two R groups that you guys have to remember should be glycine and cysteine. Cysteine, we had to remember why? Because cysteine has the R group what? It has the R group CH2 ACH. And when two cysteine molecules come together, their hydrogens are removed and they form something we know as the disulfide linkage, right? So that is why we need to know the R group of what? Cysteine. Now for glycine, glycine is the smallest amino acid. And why is it called the smallest amino acid? It is called the smallest amino acid because what exactly is an amino acid? We have a carbon, there is an amine group, then there is a C double bond OH group, then there is hydrogen. And then this is your general structure of an amino acid. And this R group is basically unique to to every single amino acid. So every single amino acid would have its own unique R group. So when we talk about glycine, the R group or the fourth group of atom or the fourth element that is bonded to this carbon is what? It's just a simple hydrogen atom. And we know that hydrogen is what? It is the smallest element or smallest atom, right? So because hydrogen is such a small atom, this is the simple general structure of an amino acid. Your R group is just a simple atom of hydrogen. So this is what your glycine, and glycine is your smallest amino acid. Why? बिकॉज ये जो पूरा पार्ट है वो तो सारे अमीनो एसिड्स के पास है. सिर्फ ये आर ग्रुप जो होता है दैट इज मेकिंग a particular amino acid distinct or different or unique from other amino acids. अब हमारे पास हाइड्रोजन सबसे सिंपलेस्ट सबसे स्मॉलेस्ट एटम या एलिमेंट ऑन अर्थ है, राइट? एज ऑफ डिस्कवर्ड येट. तो हमारे पास जो सबसे स्मॉलेस्ट एलिमेंट ही उसका आर ग्रुप है, तो ओवरऑल बाकी जितने भी अदर अमीनो एसिड्स होंगे उनके जो आर ग्रुप्स होंगे वो हाइड्रोजन से ज्यादा बड़े उनके एटम्स या मॉलिक्यूल्स होंगे. या अगर वो ग्रुप्स ऑफ एटम्स हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल हमने सिस्टीन में देखा वी हैड CH2SH. सो ये तो कितना बड़ा स्ट्रक्चर है हमारे पास. 1 2 3 4 5, we have 5 elements or we have 5 atoms in one single R group. On the contrary, in glycine we just have a simple small atom element of hydrogen. So this makes glycine the smallest amino acid. Okay. Now what happens is that all these polypeptide chains, in सबका every third amino acid is a glycine molecule. ठीक है. इसमें भी आपकी ये वाली जो पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन होगी, ये वाली पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन होगी, इस वाली पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन में बाकी अमीनो एसिड्स ये सारे वेरी कर सकते हैं. बट कोई भी अमीनो एसिड हो, फॉर एग्जांपल आई हैव एलेनिन, दिस इज एन अमीनो एसिड, देन आई हैव सिस्टीन, देन आई हैव ग्लाइसिन. ये मेरे पास एक पेयर हो गया, ओ सॉरी एक ट्रिपलेट हो गया, राइट? सो इसी तरह से मेरे पास एक्स वाई कुछ भी हो सकता है पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन्स में, लेकिन उनका जो थर्ड अमीनो एसिड होगा वो रेपिटेटिवली क्या होगा? ग्लाइसिन होगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन अनदर पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन इट इज ए बी एंड ग्लाइसिन. Another could be, for example, M, N, and glycine. But every third amino acid in a polypeptide chain has to be what? It has to be a glycine molecule. Glycine is what? Glycine is your smallest amino acid. Now, just in a bit, I will explain the significance of your of the fact that every third amino acid in a polypeptide chain in a collagen in the polypeptides making up the collagen molecule has to be glycine. So what happens is that we have three helical polypeptide chains. They associate via hydrogen bonds. ये आपस में interact करती हैं via hydrogen bonds and they form a triple helical structure जो कि आपका क्या होता है? ये एसोसिएट किस बॉन्ड के थ्रू कर रही है या किस बॉन्डिंग के थ्रू कर रही है? देयर एसोसिएटिंग or they're interacting via your hydrogen bonds. This is the first thing that you need to remember. That actually the second thing that you need to remember. The first thing you need to remember is that three helical polypeptide chains are going to form something we will just discuss in a bit. So first and foremost, a collagen molecule, the starting point for a collagen molecule is what? Three helical polypeptide chains. Those three helical polypeptide chains associate via hydrogen bonds to form something we know as tropocollagen. Okay. So basically what happens is that these polypeptide chains are basically wounding over one another. So basically apne ird-gird, they're wounding over each other and they're forming something like this. Okay, so let's come over here. ये हमारे पास एक पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन उन्होंने शो की हुई है. Now, if you would notice that every third amino acid is what? It's a glycine molecule. It's a glycine molecule, glycine, glycine, glycine. And X and Y can be anything. They can be any amino acid from all the 20 organic amino acids we know. But every third amino acid in a polypeptide chain has to be which amino acid? It has to be glycine. And glycine is what? Glycine is your smallest amino acid. ओके अब होता क्या है, ये हमारे पास एक पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन है, हेलिकल. Now, three such polypeptide chains wound together, interact together. इनके बीच में क्या बॉन्ड होगा इस पूरे स्ट्रक्चर के बीच में? इफ यू को नोटिस, यहाँ पर हमारे पास थ्री डिफरेंट पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन्स है. एक ऑरेंज कलर की, एक रेड कलर की, और ये येलोइश ऑरेंज कलर की. सो वी हैव व्हाट? वी हैव थ्री chains which are making up this structure, which we just named as topocollagen. We'll just discuss more about it in a bit. तो हमारे पास, if you could notice, कि हमारे पास जो ये थ्री हेलिकल पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन्स हैं which have associated via hydrogen bonds, इनका एक ब्रेड लाइक या रोब लाइक स्ट्रक्चर है. जिस तरह आप अपने बालों को अगर ब्रेड करते हो, तो हाउ डू यू एक्चुअली wound them around each other, or you wrap them around each other, or you tie them around each other, like, right? So basically what happens is that we have three helical polypeptide chains. They associate via hydrogen bonds, ठीक है, एंड उनमें एवरी थर्ड अमीनो एसिड इज व्हाट? इट इज योर ग्लाइसिन मॉलिक्यूल, ठीक है. And these three polypeptide chains, they're wounded or they're tightly wrapped around and about each other to form a very closely knit, a closely packed structure like the one you can see over here. Okay, can you appreciate that these are very tightly packed polypeptide chains around each other? Now, once we've understood that these three helical polypeptide chains are tightly wounded around each other via hydrogen bonds, let's get back to the fact, why do we have glycine as every third amino acid in a polypeptide chain? So basically, glycine is what? Glycine is your smallest amino acid, right? हमारे पास हमें क्लोजली पैक करना है, क्लोजली वोन्ड अराउंड करना है, क्लोजली एसोसिएट करना है अपनी तीनों पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन्स को. नाउ इफ वी हैव अ लार्ज molecule, if we have a large amino acid, if we have anything which is occupying a lot of space, तो हमारे पास क्या होगा? जो हमारे पास गैप्स होंगे इस हेलिकल स्ट्रक्चर में वो ज्यादा हो जाएंगे. इतना क्लोजली पैक नहीं हो पाएगा इफ देयर इज समथिंग लार्ज, बिकॉज फिर जो गैप्स होंगी, जो स्पेसेस होंगी, वो थोड़ी, जैसे हमने फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर हम बात करें एक आइसोमर्स, आपने आइसोमर्स पढ़े होंगे ना ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री में. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई राइट समथिंग लाइक दिस, CH3, CH2, CH2 एंड CH3, ठीक है. ये आपके पास क्या है? दिस इज योर स्ट्रेट चेन ब्यूटेन मॉलिक्यूल, राइट. बट अगर इसी ब्यूटेन मॉलिक्यूल की मैं ब्रांचिंग करवा दूं, किस तरह से? एंड I put a CH3 here. This is a CH3, this is a CH3, and this is an H. Okay. Now, if you could notice, इसकी जो बाउंड्री है वो इस तरह की है, और इसकी जो बाउंड्री है वो ये है. हमारे पास जो ये स्ट्रेट चेन स्ट्रक्चर है, ये हमारा क्लोजली पैक्ड है, राइट, ऑक्यूपाइंग लेस स्पेस. एम आई करेक्ट? एंड हमारे पास जो ये ब्रांच्ड ब्यूटेन का स्ट्रक्चर है, वो हमारे पास लूजली पैक्ड है. व्हाई? बिकॉज हमारे पास, अगर मैं इनकी इंटरैक्शन शो करूं, तो इनकी इंटरैक्शंस की बाउंड्री मेरी यूं बन रही है. इनके बीच में जो लंदन डिस्पर्जन फोर्सेस होंगी वो इस तरह से बन रही है, और इसकी जो मेरे पास बाउंड्री बन रही है वो कुछ इस तरह से बन रही है. इस बाउंड्री में स्पेस कम है, इस बाउंड्री में स्पेस ज्यादा है, राइट. तो आवर पैकेजिंग इन अ ब्रांच्ड मॉलिक्यूल इज व्हाट? इट इज लूजली पैक्ड, राइट. लूजली पैक्ड है, and it is occupying more space. Correct? Are you guys able to make sense of this analogy that I've given from organic chemistry? Or is there any confusion? Okay. Abhiya, is it clear to you as well? Okay, perfect. So what happens is कि हमारे पास कोई भी चीज जो ज्यादा स्पेस ऑक्यूपाई कर रही होगी वो लूजली पैक्ड होगी, करेक्ट. उनके बीच में जो इंटरमोलेक्युलर फोर्सेस ऑफ अट्रैक्शन होंगी वो भी कम होगी, करेक्ट. So इसी analogy को for organic chemistry use करते हुए let's put it over here now a triple helical structure जिसको हम tropocollagen बुलाते हैं. What happens is कि हमारे पास अगर लार्ज अमीनो एसिड्स हो या कोई भी लार्ज, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप छोटी छोटी बॉल्स एक जगह इकट्ठा कर लो और आप बड़ी बड़ी फुटबॉल्स या बास्केटबॉल्स एक जगह इकट्ठा कर लो, तो आप देखोगे तो छोटी बॉल्स हैं उनके बीच में जो स्पेसेस हैं वो कम होंगी, और जो आपकी बड़ी बॉल्स होंगी फॉर एग्जांपल बास्केटबॉल और फुटबॉल उनके बीच में स्पेसेस ज्यादा होंगी. सो द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ हैविंग glycine as every third amino acid is that this is allowing the polypeptide chains to be held close together. So this enables, I'll write that down, every third amino acid as glycine enables the polypeptide chains to lie close to each other. And once they're lying close to each other, तो हमने जो अभी rope like या braid like structure देखा है tropocollagen का, वो क्या करता है, हमारा एक टाइट सा coil form हो जाता है and form a tight coil of ट्रोपो, अच्छा ट्रोपोकोलेजन को कुछ जगहों पर कोलेजन मॉलिक्यूल भी कहा जाता है. So both of these terms, be it tropocollagen or be it collagen molecule, they are what? They are synonymous to one another. Okay, so far what we've understood is that there are three helical polypeptide chains. They associate via what? They associate via hydrogen bonds to form a tight coil of tropocollagen. Tight coil, or you can say a rope-like structure of tropocollagen. Now हमारे पास बहुत सारे जब ट्रोपोकोलेजन के मॉलिक्यूल्स आ जाते हैं, so numerous tropocollagen molecules. For example, this is one tropocollagen molecule, this is another tropocollagen molecule, this is another tropocollagen molecule. So numerous tropocollagen molecules, they combine together via covalent crosslinks. अब इनमें क्या बॉन्ड हो रहा है, इनके बीच में कोवेलेंट क्रॉसलिंक्स बन रहे हैं. ठीक है, these are your covalent crosslinks. If you remember, apart from the disulfide bond and the ionic bond, I said कि आपके पास जो हाइड्रोफोबिक इंटरैक्शंस हैं या आपके पास जो हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग है उनके लिए हम एक डॉटेड लाइन शो कर रहे थे. तो डॉटेड लाइन हम कब शो करते हैं, जब हम कोई वीक बॉन्डिंग दिखा रहे होते हैं, और स्ट्रेट लाइन हम कब शो करते हैं, जब हम एक परमानेंट स्ट्रॉन्ग बॉन्डिंग शो कर रहे होते हैं. तो हमारे पास बहुत सारे ट्रोपोकोलेजन के जो मॉलिक्यूल्स होते हैं, दे एसोसिएट वाया कोवेलेंट क्रॉसलिंक्स. और ये कोवेलेंट क्रॉसलिंक्स ऑब्वियसली हमारे पास जो अमीनो एसिड्स हैं इन ट्रोपोकोलेजन मॉलिक्यूल्स में, उनके आर ग्रुप्स बेसिकली आपस में कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड्स बना रहे होते हैं, जिनको हम कहते हैं कोवेलेंट क्रॉसलिंक्स. So when numerous tropocollagen molecules, when they associate via which bond? Covalent crosslinks, they form collagen fibrils. They form your collagen fibril. So let's repeat once again. We have three helical polypeptide chains. And in three helical polypeptide chains, mein, every third amino acid is a glycine molecule, which is your smallest amino acid. The significance of having glycine as your amino acid, every third amino acid, is what? That it enables these polypeptide chains to lie close to each other, to be closely knit together, forming a tight coil of tropocollagen, and the bonding between these three helical polypeptide chains, which are forming the tropocollagen molecule, are what? They're basically your hydrogen bonds. Then, when we move from when we have once we have formed the tropocollagen molecule, numerous tropocollagen molecules, they interact via covalent cross links to form something known as collagen fibrils. Okay? So we have collagen fibrils, and the bonding between collagen fibrils is what? It's your covalent cross links. Now, once these collagen fibrils are formed, numerous collagen fibrils then interact together, okay, and they form something known as your collagen fibers. So, numerous collagen fibrils form your collagen fiber. And this collagen fiber is what we call as our final molecule, जो कि हमारे पास हमारे tendons में, हमारे ligaments, हमारे sorry ligaments नहीं, हमारे tendons, हमारी bones, हमारे teeth, हमारी skin, जहां जहां भी collagen exist कर रहा होता है, वो as collagen fiber की form में exist कर रहा होता है. So we have three helical polypeptide chains having every third amino acid as glycine, which interact via hydrogen bonds to form a collagen tropocollagen molecule. Numerous tropocollagen molecules that interact via covalent crosslinks to form something known as collagen fibrils. This is your collagen fibril. And numerous collagen fibrils that interact, they come together to form something we call as the collagen fiber. So to summarize the topic of collagen, we would say that collagen is the main structural protein of animals. The fundamental or the core unit of the collagen fiber consists of three helical polypeptide chains, and these three polypeptide chains are wounded around each other forming tropocollagen with high tensile strength. हमारे पास जो हाई टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ आ रही होती है ना, वो इसी वजह से आ रही होती है कि हमारे पास जो ये ट्रोपोकोलाजन का मॉलिक्यूल है, ये इतना क्लोजली और स्ट्रांगली वुंडेड अराउंड होता है, रैप्ड अराउंड होता है, नेटेड अराउंड होता है, that it is basically responsible for the high tensile strength of your collagen fiber. And आप अगर नोटिस करो, ये आपका एक माइक्रोफिब्र ये सारे माइक्रोफिब्रिल्स आपस में इंटरैक्ट करके इतना मोटा सा और इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग किस्म का विद हाई टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ कोलेजन फाइबर एज द एंड प्रोडक्ट दे रहा होता है. So is the topic or the subtopic of collagen clear to all of you? Any questions in this regard?